Good evening, everyone. Let's call this meeting to order. Having said that, I'll like to pass it over to Councilor Ferguson. Thanks.
Thank you, Mayor. Sorry for the delay, folks. We just had technical difficulties, so that's why we're starting late in our meeting. The Mayor and Council wish to acknowledge the town of Fort Smith is located within Treaty 8 territory. Treaty 8 territory also encompasses the traditional homelands of the Salt River First Nation, Smith Landing First Nation, and the Indigenous Métis people of Fort Smith. These nations have maintained stewardship of their sacred land throughout the generations, and we honor your knowledge, teachings, traditions, and the land. We are mindful that colonization has not been kind, and we respectfully recognize our generational histories and commit to strive for unity in the spirit of truth and reconciliation. So we have no declaration of financial interest, and we had a delegation, but they're not here. So if I could just get someone to move on the agenda. I move the agenda be adopted as presented.
I'll second it.
Any discussion or additions? No, seeing none, then all in favor? Okay, agenda is adopted as presented. So within our package, as always, we have our minutes from our last meeting. We have our visions and values, community service master plan, and the economic development plan. So any questions or new business arising from the minutes of the last meeting? Councillor Corbett.
Thanks, Madam Chair. As usual, I do have a couple of items. It's in regards to the June 13th community service minutes. Item 3B under review. There was a brief discussion about the CLI process, and I was just wondering if there's an update on how that is proceeding. Because I think it's a very significant issue, and hate to see it sort of drop off over the summertime.
Thank you, Councillor Corbett. Deputy Mayor Jay, did you hear the question, and are you able to respond? Can you hear me, Deputy Mayor? Is his mic on? I can see you engaging. Is your mic on? Okay, just hold tight. We're gonna see if we can't get your sound to work on our end. Try again.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. There we go. We can hear you now.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't hear the question.
All right, so it's just a basic recap in regards to where we are and what's going on with the CLI.
Okay. So we've been speaking with CLI and the leadership, and we're organizing a meeting for the second week of September.
Thank you. Does that answer your question, Councillor Corbett? All right, so is there any other business arising from the minutes, Councillor Corbett?
Yeah. The other one is with regards to item 8A under other business. I brought up the topic of signage for the community and recreation center for the legacy facilities within the complex, and I was just wondering if there's any update on the timelines of when we can expect signage, any additional processes that are involved. For example, have we touched base yet with the curling club regarding the proposed thing for the curling club as well?
Thank you. That would be for the community. Yeah, and we could.
Yeah, so we have the small signs. We're still working on getting the Mary Kaiser Library sign up. So ideally, we were hoping to get that done in the summer, but it's a very busy season for our facility maintenance staff, and that may be something that it becomes a fall project. I have reached out to the curling club and brought it to the president, and he is taking it to further discussion with the club. We tried to meet last week, but I was out of the office, so I'll be meeting with him to gauge what their feelings are about that.
All right, thank you. So any other business from there? All right, so moving on. We have the director's reports. Back to you then. The community rec center statistics and Mary Kaiser Library. Or folks, you have in your package, if anyone has questions, or if you have any just highlight topics you want to highlight about that.
Yes, sorry, I'm just trying to get it open on here. But I can talk about the highlights. So last month we did see our grand opening events, which were very well attended. It was exciting to get people back in the building and to see all of the wonderful things that were completed in the renovation, and happy to see community events happening again. Another big highlight for us, we're starting swimming lessons again, so we're very happy to see that, having a more full pool schedule that started just at the end of June is another win, as we're always trying to make sure that the services are available for people. Inside, like our programming is very well attended when we're able to staff it. So that's something that we definitely are working to make sure that there's programming available as much as possible. Our summer camp program kicked off as well, and it's been pretty well fully enrolled for the entire summer. So it's a busy spot at the rec center right now. Pete's Gym is always busy, which is great. We have lots of users down there, and that's thankfully a trend that continues throughout the year. The other event that we took part in was assisting with the National Indigenous Peoples Day celebrations and the treaty days with Salt River First Nation. So we're really happy to see how successful that was in the community. It was a huge outpouring of support from lots of different organizations, and we were only a small part of that, but happy that we could be the kind of the venue site of where this took place, and that it brought some amazing fun things to our community. So that was a real highlight and a collaborative effort, which I think we should all be pretty happy about. Outside of that, the daycare is fully enrolled. The after-school program was still fully enrolled until the end of the month, and is now on a break for the summer. As we move into summer camp, we're also full. So it is definitely a busy spot.
Thank you. Is there any questions in regards to your director's report? Councilor Duffy.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to know if the community center is fully open. Are memberships being sought?
Yeah, so we're selling a fairly regular amount of memberships. Some people were holding off until the pool was open a little bit more regularly. So we've seen a little bit of an uptick in the sale of memberships around the pool. But yeah, for the most part, I mean, even through the renovation, people were still purchasing their memberships and accessing the building. So it's definitely a service that is well accessed from our community recreation center.
Thank you. Yeah, Councilor Tucky.
Just to follow up, any problems with the hot tub or with the sauna?
So the sauna is functioning. The hot tub had a pump go down, but we have a spare, so it was swapped out as that piece of equipment failed. They have a very short life, unfortunately, with the hot tub. They do work very hard. So we swapped that out. Outside of that, it all comes down to chemistry. It's a very, very small hot tub. So when you're working with that volume of water, we're under 4,000 liters. And the chemistry can fluctuate very, very quickly, and then we kind of have to rebuild to it. So that's why we test every hour that we're open. If there's a fluctuation that puts us outside of legislative range, we close. If it's good to go, we keep it open. So we continue to test, we adjust as we need to. Those types of closures, it's all within the legislation that we're kind of beholden to. But any major failure, there was a pump failure and it was replaced quickly. So that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, one more, Councilor Tuck.
Yeah, I'm not sure, Ms. Lucci, if you're aware of this, not but quite some time ago, council requested a line-by-line cost analysis of the daycare and after-school program. This request was submitted, and just wondering when council can expect to see this report, or were you made aware of it?
Yeah.
Again, I was aware, so I shared that with the SAO and had it sent out to all the counselors as well by email.
Okay, thank you.
Councilor Campbell?
This hot tub, if it's being so small, would it help to look at purchasing a new one, because it seems to be down quite a bit? A bigger capacity, would that be? How much more like a capacity do we have to go?
So, I mean, anything is possible. So I don't say that anything's impossible, but with the way that that one is built into our system and the current filtration and pump system that exists, it would be a fairly large undertaking to like swap that out. But it would be a large capital project to do that. I don't have a number at all.
Thank you. All right, any other questions for that? CRC or Mary Kay in the library? All right, so then going on to the economic development report that was in your package. If there's any highlights you might want to give us, or if anyone has any questions about that? Highlights?
So what I asked our economic development officer to focus on, especially in the season where we're seeing a very robust amount of festivals and activities and events, had the focus kind of turned to assisting with the events that are going on, due to other staff being sold into the pool and other things like that. So she's been able to focus on assisting with other organizations' events and organizing our own events, and making that a really great addition to our community. So this is where the focus has been with this department for a little while. I mean, with many other projects on the go at the same time. We're still working on the housing plan. But that's a really great success story, I think. I mean, Canada Day was a great event. I have to say, I'm so thankful for our staff, for the volunteers, for council, and everyone who showed up to help. But the organization that went into that, we felt like things went really smoothly, and on the day, a lot of that all comes down to the pre-planning. And so having this department be involved in that and really having things ready to go, it's made it feel like all of these undertakings are much more manageable. And I think we represent ourselves very professionally then when we're able to take part in these collaborations, and we know what we're doing, when we're doing it, we know who's doing what, and that's where the focus has been with our economic development officer for the last month. And then just a plug about our housing plan as well, because that's still on the go, and we have Chris Van Dyke here for with NWT Housing for the week to run meetings, very like one-on-one type meetings with members of the community, with other community governments and things like that. So we're getting lots of details about
Thank you. Any other questions, Councillor Quebec?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think, yes, the staff have been really busy with events and things like that. I sort of, with the economic development side of things, like to sort of try and focus my attention and hopefully some of the administration attention on the longer term objectives. We still have our 2018 to 2022 strategic plan, and I'm a bit disappointed is a very strong word to use at of the reports I've seen over the last since about December, there hasn't been a lot of attention paid to the 9 strategic goals that are outlined in the economic plan. For reference, it's page 6 of the Town of Fort Smith Economic Development Strategic Goals. And I think if we could get an update sometime in the future, July, August, September sort of time frame of where we're as a organization, where we're at sort of reaching some of those goals, and what if there's any specific action plans in the works to address and make some progress on achieving the goals. Like goal number 1, for example, is foster and encourage business and job creation and retention. So follow up on the bigger, the more strategic items.
Yeah, I can bring that, no problem. And that, I mean, that's, I feel like that one's one of the things that we've moved towards is the small community fund was one of the things that ticked off that first box, that strategic. So there's definitely been headway made, and just to make sure that we don't lose momentum in it. So sure, I can get you kind of where we're at with that.
Any other questions? Okay, so then I guess we'll move on to advisory boards. We have the minutes from the Community Services Advisory Board in the package. Diane, I don't know if you want to give an update. You were the, sure. Thanks. So the Community Services Advisory Board met on June 22nd, and it was a robust meeting with how many events are coming, but the main focus was we looked over the arena use agreement, and Emily received many feedbacks on that from different members, and we are taking a break for the summer, and we won't be meeting again until September. Is there any questions for that? All right, Councillor Quebec.
Thank you, Madam Chair. With one of my other hats on, I noticed one of the under item D, business arising, there was a comment with regards to the Dark Sky Festival possibly not being held at Pine Lake. And just for community reference, I had a conversation last week with Wood Buffalo, and the visitor experience people are confident that Pine Lake will be available for the Dark Sky Festival. So in third week of August. Hopefully we'll have some additional registrations from in town. And then just the other item with regards to those minutes was under item E, new business, where they're talking about operation of beer gardens. I know it's for many organizations, it's a significant and rather easy way to generate revenue quickly. I just sort of, again, we've talked about this. I know it came up several times in my previous occupation as a town councilor, is the appropriateness of beer gardens being operated within the town facility, given that we're trying to instill family values, inclusiveness and things like that, and recognizing that alcohol and other drugs do have a tendency to contribute to abusiveness within the community. So I think it's sometime in the future we should be discussing with the public how they feel about the kinds of licensed events within town facilities.
Thank you. All right, any other from the minutes? The Community Services Advisory Board minutes? All right, so then I don't think I didn't think from the Economic Development Board or the Housing Plan, kind of gave. So then we're on to, I need a recommendation for the standing committee.
I move the amended GB 105 Standing Committee on Community Services Policy be adopted as presented.
I'll second.
And discussion, Councilor Brunette.
Thank you. Before we move forward with this recommendation, there is one item that needs to be corrected within the policy. Under item D, we refer to it as the municipal services.
Definition? The definition D?
No. Item D further down in the actual policy. Where did I see that? Page 1 of the item 4, actually, sorry. Purpose of the Municipal Services Committee. It is actually community services.
Okay. Thank you. All right, is there any other discussion? Or corrections? All right. All in favor? Okay, motion.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So there we go. Next, we have a briefing note in our package on the whooping crane. Oh, fireweed. It's wrong on my thing. It's the fireweed festival. Do you folks want to make a motion and then we discuss?
Okay, I'd like to make a motion that we give the Fireweed Festival their request, thanks.
I'll second that.
All right, discussion. All right, Mike, or Councilor Clement?
Thank you, Madam Chair. First off, keep bringing it up every time we look at these various requests for contributions is I really think we need to get a review of our policy, how we deal with contributions, and more specifically addressing items like how do we deal with multiple tiered requests where they're asking both for financial contribution, in-kind services, and in some cases equipment and use of facilities. So just a way for us to better understand when these, not only us, but the actual applicants understand how this is going to be evaluated and things like that. With this particular one, I know with several of the other more recent requests, we've sort of, with this one again, they're asking for both the financial contribution and then in-kind and use of equipment. And our previous ones, we've sort of said, okay, the amount of financial request has to include the in-kind and that side of it. And just wondering how we're going to be looking at some consistency in how we apply our interpretation of the request.
Thank you for that. So just to clarify, they're asking for a $5,000 donation. And then on the 25th, the stage, and people to set it up. On the 26th, the bouncy castle at pool passes. And on the 27th,
this on top of what, the $5,000 they're asking for? I think that is quite excessive, like a couple days. I would, go down to 2,500 and help out with the loan of the stage and help with the bouncy castle. That's all fun for the kids and everybody in the community. And then take down, and then we just have to get them a letter from them again saying that, they'll be responsible, because I think we had to do it last time, that they'll be responsible for the care and maintenance while they have it on their facility place. So,
Councillor Crowell?
Okay, so I'm just looking, and the briefing note, it states that we have $11,350 left till the end of the year, we're only halfway through the year. So I also agree that the monetary cost is a little excessive, especially the bouncy castle will be like $400. And then the stage setup takedown, I have a question, do we have enough staff to do the stage setup, or is there supposed to be a course being delivered to train people from different areas in order to use the stage? That type of thing. I think it's a great festival, and I think it's a good idea, but also there's a $2,000 request for the Woodland Crane Festival we're discussing next, and there's another request from the Slides and Shredders, so that's only gonna leave, like, if we approve everything in here, we're gonna be in the hole before we get to the Christmas season, and that type of thing as well, so I think we need to take that into concession.
Thank you. Councillor Camp, no? Okay. All right, folks, is there more to say, or do you want to change the, Councillor Campbell?
I would like to change my motion to $2,500 and then the in-kind contributions of the stage, the bouncy castle, the stage setup and take down.
Councillor Corbett, you second that?
And I'm go with the, change.
Okay. All right, so is it, just wait, Councillor Camp or Crowell?
So that would be $2,500 cash. The bouncy castle is $400, and the stage setup and takedown is $2,000. So that's still $5,000 that would be given to the Firewood Festival. So we are still going to be left at the end of this with $2,000 for Christmas. So just sorry.
Thank you. Councillor Campbell?
I think everything, we have all the get together for community, it all goes everybody together. I think everything's great here, so that's my feeling.
Thank you. So there is a motion on the floor for $2,500. Okay, Councillor Corbett?
just a question, I believe I understand the process, very well in my head, that could be confusing though. With all these, contributions that we're providing, the various organizations over the year, are they required to file, reports on the, where the money was spent, the number of people that, that event attracted to our community, people that attended, just some very basic information so that we can measure the effectiveness of us giving them money is to the overall well-being of the community and potential economic windfalls for businesses and other things like that from people traveling.
Thank you. Councillor Campbell?
I agree with Councillor Cooper. It's just that we just keep putting this money down this black hole, we never see anything back saying it was good or what happened with it. I'd like to see some kind of little report and something, something saying that it went towards what we put it to. We don't know where it's going. Just a black hole. We just say, yes, we gave the money away.
Do you have a follow-up?
Just to let everyone know then, that there, in previous years, there's been no follow-up, there's been no final report that's come back, except for when there have been contributions in the budget designated to go to specific groups year after year, they were providing us with financial statements. So then there was a follow-up of, we could see what the money went into, because they gave us a breakdown of what they had done in the previous year and their financials, but when we were handing out donations to anything outside of that, there was nothing coming back to show what actually happened with the money.
Counselor Tucky?
Well, I totally agree with what Councilor Campbell stated about asking for some kind of report. I think there should be a standardized format for any of our funds going out. I mean, it is our money that we're giving out, and people should be accountable for it. And if they demonstrate that they are not, that gives us future reference for further funding or no funding. And I think it's just responsible organizational work skills to be able to provide that kind of a report.
Thank you.
Madam Chair?
Yeah, I was just, Council,
Okay,
Deputy Mayor.
thank you very much. I just wanted to make a couple of comments. If we recall back when we made the change to this policy on how we were going to distribute the money from the larger pot, a couple of the things that we talked about at the time was having the organizations explain to council how the event that they were asking for the money for would benefit the whole community or specific sectors of the community as part of their application process. We had asked them to identify that. And another thing that we had indicated at the time, if I recall correctly, was that we were essentially going to go on a first come, first served kind of basis. But I like a lot of the comments that I hear around the table. And I think it's important that we should be setting some kind of upper limits for requests that we won't exceed a certain dollar amount. Maybe that's a conversation that Mayor and Council needs to have going forward to try and ensure that we're benefiting as many groups that will benefit as much of the community as possible as we move this donation football kind of thing around over the next few months.
Thank you. Any other comments or discussion? Okay, Councilor Kissinger?
Yes, thank you. I agree with the Deputy Mayor's comments that we need to help all the organizations we can. And we have 5 months left and we don't have very much money. And there's a lot of things yet that are going to be coming to us for donations. Thank you.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor, did you still have another question? Your hand's up, okay.
No, sorry, I took my hand down.
Okay, SAO?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Perhaps as you go through the process of reviewing your donations policy, that could be something that you work into the policy, is not only providing financial statements as some of the organizations are doing, but also a statement on exactly as the Deputy Mayor said, how it's going to benefit the community, and also require them to provide you with follow-up information on the success of the event, as well as number of attendees and possible, if it's able to quantify the economic benefit to the community from that. And I would suggest that you work that into your donations policy as you review it, certainly around before passing of your next budget.
Thank you. So we do have a motion on the floor, and it is for a $2,500 cash donation in addition to the stage setup and takedown, and on the day of August 26th, the bouncy castle and 100 pool passes for kids. You didn't say pool passes? Oh, okay. So no pool passes, just the bouncy castle. Any other discussion? All right. All in favor?
Yes.
Jay, okay. Mayor, did you vote? Okay, all okay. It is passed. Did you vote? Yeah, passed. No, you didn't vote? Okay. And then against? One, passed. Motion carried. So in your package, you'll find the next contribution for the Whooping Crane Festival contribution.
If I could just make a comment, it's not that I'm not in favor of these festivals, it's great community events, but there is a lot of them happening, and we need to help as many people, as many organizations as we can. I would have went for the $2,500. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so now you'll have your Whooping Crane Festival request in your package. If you'd like, someone could make a recommendation and then we can have a discussion. Or we can have a discussion. I think we have to have a recommendation before we discuss. Correct? So.
I move, that the council consider the application from Aurora College for $2,000 contribution to cover expenses for a lunch for the Whooping Crane Festival happening August 9th to 12th, 2023.
I'll second.
Thank you. All right, discussion, Councillor Pruitt.
Very concerned about us actually considering a contribution for a festival to Aurora College. This was be coming from the Northern Light Museum or another organization, it would be much more palatable, but for one level of government to be providing to another level of government, especially when the other level of government seems to, in most cases, consider itself supreme to our level of government. It's coming this far down the ladder, I don't want it going back up. So that is the first concern I have. And then secondly, looking at the amount of money being contributed to other organizations for this particular festival, I'm sort of wondering how does this really, it just doesn't seem to me that when we're talking budget, what was your budget? Upwards of $30,000 that $2,000 contribution from the town is going to make a significant impact to the delivery of the festival.
Thank you. Councillor Campbell?
You're agreeing with Councillor Coubret, and I don't see how this is benefiting the whole community of Fort Smith. So I'm not in favor. Thanks.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Deputy Mayor? All right, so then we have.
Sorry, I do have a comment, sorry. I was
Okay.
trying to find the right button.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think that this Whooping Crane Festival is a really good thing for the community. I think it exposes the northern area of the Whooping Crane habitat. But however, having said that, I do agree with Councilor Coubret's statement about government to government contributions, and I also agree if this was from the Northern Light Museum or another nonprofit within the community, I'd be very quick to vote in favor of this donation. But I also have a level of discomfort giving our taxpayers dollars to Aurora College to support an event. Perhaps Aurora College could find the $2,000 to support the event. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Any other discussion? All right, so the motion on the floor, all in favor? None, motion defeated. So moving on, our agenda, we had other business. We're doing execution of councillors.
I move that Councillor Bolio be excused from the Community Services Down Committee meeting July 11th, 2023.
I'll second.
All in favor? All right, motion carried. the next community service standing committee meeting will be held on August 8th. Recommendation to adjourn.
I move that the meeting be adjourned at 8:50 PM.
One second.
Perfect. Oh, 7:50.
Sorry, my apologies, 7:50.
Awesome. We are now adjourned and we will start back up at 8 o'clock or right away.
Oh, just kidding.
5 minutes. 5 minutes. 5 minutes. Thanks. We have
So does